So so the next event that we're going to be having, of course, will be coming up next month or so. So you'll get to know the details about that, and you'll get to know the focus. Now, of course, it's going to be impactful also, but it's just that today we there was a kind of clash with another meeting. So a couple of our members are currently they are currently in that meeting. So hopefully they join us soon. Okay, so let's get to the game. Okay. So I'm sharing my screen now. If you can see my screen, please, can you respond? Let me know you can see my screen. Okay,
Yes,
perfect.
sir.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. Thank you. So I'm going to play the video a couple of times. Listen very well. Okay. Listen very well. Okay. And um whoever gets the answer right uh will have a gift from us, from the community. Okay. Whoever gets the answer right will have a gift from the community. Okay. So the gift will not be announced, but you'll definitely get a gift from the community. Okay. So I'll play the video a couple of times.
One, two. Repeat after me, okay? One, two, three. What's the number after 4?
5.
Incorrect.
What?
Nope.
Oh, I got it.
You understand? Okay, all right, don't say anything. Don't say anything. You guys ready? Repeat after me. 1, 2, 3. What's the number after 4?
5.
No.
Oh.
You got it?
Yeah.
Okay, don't say anything. Both of you don't say anything. Dad, you ready? Listen carefully.
I'm listening.
Repeat after me. 1, 2, 3.
3.
What's the number after 4?
5.
No.
I don't understand. I don't get it. You guys get it? Explain it to me.
1, 2, 3. What's the number after 4?
5. The number after 4 is 5.
I'm going to play the video one more time. So listen carefully. One more time.
Repeat after me, okay? 1, 2, 3. What's the number after 4?
5.
Incorrect.
What?
Nope.
Oh, I got it.
You understand? Okay, all right, don't say anything. Don't say anything. You guys ready? Repeat after me. 1, 2, 3. What's the number after 4?
5.
No.
Oh.
You got it?
Yeah.
Okay, don't say anything. Both of you don't say anything. Dad, you ready? Listen carefully.
I'm listening.
Repeat after me. 1, 2, 3.
3.
What's the number after 4?
5.
No.
I don't understand. I don't get it. You guys get it? Explain it to me.
1, 2, 3. What's the number after 4?
5. The number after 4 is 5.
Okay. Okay. Anyone who wants to try? Anyone wants to try? Anyone? Anyone wants to try? What's the answer? Anyone wants to try?
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, good evening.
Okay, I actually think the number should be 1 because he said repeat after me. So definitely after he mentioned 4, he was supposed to go back to 1.
Okay. No, that's not the answer. That's not the answer. Okay, so you said he was expecting them to go back to 1 after the after the 4. Okay, yeah, but that's not the answer. Okay, any other person? So that's not the answer. Any other person? Okay, someone said okay, someone said let me see. Someone said the answer is 4. No, obviously no. Obviously no. The answer is not 4. Anyone wants to try? Anyone? Okay, yes, please go ahead.
Okay, my understanding, it's the part where he says, repeat after me. So it's 1, 2, 3. What's the number after 4? The answer, I think, it's what's the number after 4?
Correct.
Because he has to repeat.
Correct. That's correct. That's correct. Yes, that's correct. Thank you very much. That's correct. That was why I said you need to listen closely. So you remember the speaker said, repeat after me. That was the instruction of the question. It's always good to listen to instruction. This is one of the reasons instructions are very important. If you're writing an exam, you're taking a test, you're doing something, always play by the rules. If you are playing any game and then you don't play by the rules, definitely you commit a foul and you can be rebuked for that. Okay, so the instruction is repeat after me. And then he said 1. They repeated 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. What is the number after 4? It is not 5. He said to repeat after me. So they were expected to say, what is the number after 4? They were just expected to repeat exactly what he has said. Okay, so that's the answer. It caused a couple of problems online when I posted it too. I said, let me bring it here and cause some trouble. Also, just to engage our understanding, our thinking, and also our attention to detail. So one of the lessons we can pick from there is that it's important to pay attention to instructions. Okay, so that's one of the lessons. It's important to pay attention to instructions. That's one. Then 2, it's important to pay attention to details. Careful attention to details is very important. Okay. All right. Thank you very much for that. Thank you. So we're going to be moving on to the main dish for today, as we're going to be inviting the main speaker for today. He's already in our midst. He's so eager to pour out his mind, pour out his wealth of knowledge and experience to us tonight. So I'm just going to be introducing him, Mr. Gershom Okunda. And I'll be, going through a couple of his achievements over the years, so you have an idea of the person that is here to, to take us through this journey tonight. So it made such a rare privilege to have him come speak on our platform. He was also with us last Saturday to speak on our platform to the PDT community, where he talked about how to enhance your public speaking ability. Such an impactful session, and people are still watching that video over and over again. Over and over again, people were so amazed and so impacted, with the wealth of experience and knowledge he shared with us. And we are so privileged to have him again today. Such a privilege to have him again today. So he has a bachelor's in commerce, marketing, and also higher diploma in marketing and management. So he has practical experience in team recruitment, training, mentorship, and business admin. He's an accredited ICM member, ICM trainer rather. Then he's also a member of the Chartered Management Institute, CMI. It's also a member and consultant at the Institute of Certified Administrators, ICA. So it means he's a certified administrator. Then he also got an award now as an international ambassador of peace by Martin Luther King Foundation and Global Peace Federation. And he's also served as the president of World Youth Assembly in Geneva, Switzerland, between 2010 to 2016, that's 6 years. And also is the founder of DS Max Foundation, and is trained and mentored over 63,000 young people into entrepreneurship in the space of 20 years, between 1998 and 2018. So you can imagine that we're talking of people, I mean, someone who has impacted over 63,000 youths. It's no joke. Over 63, and we're not talking of 63, we're talking of 63,000 over the space of 20 years. So you're looking at wealth of experience and knowledge. Okay. He also has 26 years experience in coaching sales and marketing in the private sector. And he's also trained over 150 companies and government agencies, including learning institutions. And he's also the lead project management training consultant with Global Training Institute. And also is the programs director at Go Training Consult Limited. He's a man of many parts, someone who I can publicly and seriously, confidently say is well sought after as a public speaker, keynote speaker. And personally, I've met him in 2 countries. I've met him in Kenya, and I've also met him in Kigali, Rwanda. So he's someone I know. And it so gives us great pleasure tonight to have you again join us tonight as we get real, it's the way I see it sometimes is like it's like when someone is giving free, is giving free money, you want to look at it that way. When someone is giving you free money, it's such a rare privilege. Money is not something that cheap to come by. The same way, experience and impact is not something easy to come by. When you get someone who gives that for free, that's like giving away money. Okay, so we are so happy, and then also we are so grateful for your time, and also for accepting the invite to come share your wealth of experience and impact with us in the community again tonight. Thank you very much, and once again, you're welcome. So you have the floor, Mr. Garishin. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Brother Bankole. Once again, it's a big privilege to meet your audience online. Good evening, everyone, and happy Easter. I don't know whether you guys are celebrating your Easter in the West.
We're celebrating.
In the East here, people are carrying crosses. I'm seeing them on the street carrying the cross. I don't know whether you're demonstrating the same in the West, to symbolize the day when Jesus was crucified. Yeah, this is the weekend. Hope all of you okay. 1 or 2 response. I'm just making sure I'm not talking to a stone. Can I be heard? Can there be any response? It's sometimes just to have to make sure that the class, the audience is
put it in the chat box, sir.
We can hear you. We can hear you.
Thank you so much. I had some experience some time back. Let me tell you what happened one day during Corona. I was scheduled to have a physical class. And then because of the Corona and the restriction and the sales manager of the insurance company had already, done a deposit, paid money for his team of 61 people to attend the class. And so what happened was that people logged in. Of course, you can see the name. And then now they went out to do their own stuff. So we had a class for almost 1 hour. Until that time now, I took a break to ask a question. And the sales manager was also in the meeting. And you see, most of them were not on video. So nobody was responding completely. Yes, and so he started calling them one by one, and nobody's coming up, not knowing that everybody had already left to go do their own things. So since that day, can you imagine, just come to realize that for over 30 minutes we've been talking to you, you're the sales manager, and one extra guy who was active. The rest had logged on. We are not used to that experience of being online in class. So since that time, I'm always used to, like, whenever I start off a session on class, I would like to hear 1, 2, 3 people responding, and that makes me have the confidence to continue. So don't take it negatively. Now, for those of us who are with those who are with us last week, we had a very good session together, and today I think I've also been privileged to have 45 minutes of your time, just to see exactly what you can be able to share together. And today's conversation is revolving around career development. Now, let me try to see whether I can be able to project this and share it with you, so that by response, please, you can also tell me whether you can be able to see my slide.
We can see it.
Thank you so much. Right. Yeah. So today we're going to be having a conversation on career development. Career development is a session, a topic I've handled for different clusters of professionals, right from the senior managers to the line managers, and even, you know, to new entrants of the job market, because this conversation revolves differently to different people depending on exactly which level you have reached. Surprisingly, we've introduced a curriculum on career development on post-retirement. You know, many people think that after you retire, now that's the end of the story and you have nothing else to do in terms of your career. But we've identified a very lucrative part of the career development, which it is all of a sudden now like revitalizing and giving people the meaning why they should even rush into retirement more sooner, or if possible, retire early. Because when it comes to career development and the final niche, which brings an aspect of consultancy, meaning now you have a wealth of experience, you have a lot of content, your competence, your knowledge is so vast. And now, how do you just dump that into retirement and say, I'm now going home to relax? No, you should convert all that into a cocktail of content that you can now turn yourself to become a consultant in whatever career you are in. Maybe if I'll be finishing up late, I'll bring a slide or two, or just speak about it at the last minute. Now, matter career development, it has to be understood that it's a journey you have to plan. Actually, there are 4 stages in career development. And the first stage in career development, we call the initial stage. This is the initial stage which you have to run through from the time you are in primary, and your grades should be trying to tell what you are good at, what your strength in your academic line. And then when you finish your high school, it should be very clear. Like in Kenya, in East Africa, what we do is once you're in high school, the school should be able to help you try to choose what kind of a course you are going to take in the university. And actually that comes on the second year of the high school, so that you drop off some of the topics, some of the subjects, right after Form 2, right? And then now you move on with specific area of courses, of subjects, which you chose by yourself, maybe by the support of your teacher and your parents. And that exactly determines the kind of exam you're going to receive at the end of your Form 4. I don't know, some other countries still have the Form 6. But yes, the final exam you do before you go to university should be subjects that you chose by yourself. It was intentional that I want to do this. Of course, they are what's called compulsory subjects, but they also have what's called the optional subjects. Now, these optional subjects, you are the one to choose. I want to drop geography and take history. I want to drop music and take art and craft. I want to drop this and take this. But there are those compulsory subjects which are very key in developing industries that drive the economy of a nation, or industries that drive the economy of the globe. Now, by the time now you are getting to university, that's where now the real key part of your career development really starts. Now you're going to do medicine, you're going to be an engineer, not just a general engineer, maybe computer engineer, civil engineer, structural engineer. You are now becoming more specific on what you want to do. And this is still just an introduction. Now, that's what's called the initial stage. But when you are in the university, you move now you're not only you're not only busy planning or now getting into your real course line, but you move also to stage 2, which we call now the planning stage. That the moment I finish my university, this is exactly where I want to start from. I've seen many people graduating and then they start lamenting, crying like babies, blaming the government for lack of creating employment and many other areas. I think by the time you're getting to university, you should be knowing whether your government is genuine enough to help you get a job, or you should be graduating with the mindset of an employer. All this is a planning that you have to do when you're in the university. Of course, you know, and that's why everything is trending. Everything, politics is trending everywhere. You can always tell that when I finish my education, I don't think I'm going to rely on the government to give me a job. And if the government is not giving me a job, what am I going to do? So it's called the planning stage. And this particular planning stage is where you have to open your mind. You know your market very well. Open your mind. After I finish my university, I'm going to do my master's abroad. You start applying for these opportunities. When you're in the second year, you're going to the final year, you start applying for scholarships. It's important you plan, because some of those scholarships, you see, the processes go through over 3 months, 6 months, if some of them even 1 year. So why are you waiting until you graduate? Then from there, you start now getting stranded. So all this is part of planning. Or you say, the moment I graduate, I want to now start hustling for the next 2-3 years, do my own business, do my own stuff and other things as I, or just get attached to. During university is also the best time to start networking yourself with better people. Many times we hang around with the so-called the comrades for a very long time. By the time you're finishing your final year before you graduate, you're still hanging around with the so-called comrades. My friend, after graduation, you don't meet those people again. Thank God these days there are what called WhatsApp groups where people form a WhatsApp group for graduates of a certain year, graduates of a certain year. Then they hang up together. Whatever they hang out together, okay, they also have their own objective. But to me, the second last year or the final year is the time you need to start networking yourself with people in employment when you're still a student. When you hear there's a cocktail dinner, there's a corporate event here and there, conferences, workshops, seminars, you name them, or those exhibitions, go there. Start picking those contacts. Get to know people so and so. Because let me tell you, I've seen many young people talk about, or for you to get a job anywhere, you need to have someone in the government, someone you are attached to. You need a good father. All these are, to me, allow me to use the word crap. It's all crap. The truth of the matter is, even me, I will give support to someone I already have a relationship with. That's a fact. If I find Bankole in a team of 16 people who have applied for a job, and they all look qualified, the only difference between the person I'll take, which is Bankole, and the rest whom I don't know, is the relationship I already have about him. I know him already, which means I already have some level of trust or a track record of what he's been doing. So it's easier for me to start building with him. That's the true fact. This thing happens, we saw it in the Bible, we've seen this in history, we've seen it in science. The law of relationship, it works. It's not about someone who knows another person who's supposed to be supporting another one. And it comes from a simple subject we call networking. Many people have never known what networking or the power of networking. Networking is to try to build a relationship with the right people who can become your pillar and your ladder to the next level of life. Networking is a must. So from there, now we go to execution, which is after university. Execution, the actual working. Now, when you start working, you're on the third level. You are working, but you must have the 3 stages again in the working, or in the executing stage, which is the working now, which is independent, meaning you don't know so much, you don't have much competence, you don't have much skills, or you're still sharpening your skills, but you're working. In fact, your salary is very low. You're being paid so little because of the little you know. but it's called independent stage. You're depending on someone else to mentor you, to coach you, to train you, so you can improve on your skill. And then now you move to what's called independent. Independent now, it means now you've mastered your work, you know what you're supposed to be doing, you don't need much close supervision, rarely will you go into a training again because now you've already learned the ropes. And then from there, you move to what's called interdependent stage. All this should take you about 15 years, from the age of 25 to the age of almost 40. Interdependence basically means that you are so good in what you do, companies depend on you, you also depend on them. In fact, many people who are very sharp, they jump out after in the interdependent stage. These are stages where now you can actually jump out and employ yourself or start your own company and start looking for tenders. Interdependence, you're so good, you've mastered your stage. All this is on the main stage 2, stage 3, which you call execution stage. Now you move to the final stage, which comes from the age of 40 or age of 50. But I'm going to open up all this together. I'm just doing an intro. Now, at this particular stage, we call it the closing stage. Closing stage is where now you are starting to quit active employment and you're jumping into self-employment. You are jumping out of employment and jumping into self-employment. Actually, you can register your own company, and the experience you've had for all this period of time, now you can use it now to move to the next level. Let's say, for example, and I'm just going to give you 2-3 examples. You've been a finance officer and employed for a very long time, for 15 years, 20 years, 25 years. Are you still waiting to retire at the age of 60? You know, stage 4, the closing stage, tells you that at the age of 50, register a company. You are also going to start experiencing some slowness in terms of delivery. You are starting to age. The younger generation is becoming more competent and more active than you. So that's the stage to register a company and start employing the other generation to work for you. It's called the closing stage. And that's why we said we've developed now the 5th level, where now you become a consultant, that your experience is so vast that you go back to the same government and become a consultant. You've been working for the government for 20, 25 years. What are you still doing this in the same department with the young people who are just joining at the age of 25? You are 55 years working with the people who are 25 years of age. My friend, don't call it witchcraft. We are in a technological age. This is a digital age. The young people who are 25, 30 years are likely to be employed by anybody than you who is 55. If the company has to put more money in training, they will choose to train a 25-year-old, 30-year-old than training a 55-year-old. Why should I train you at the age of 55 and you're quitting the next 5 years to retire? Get that right. So the career development approach you are having today is different from the one we had in 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. From the year 2000, government or companies have started putting more effort in the younger generation than the older generation. And so how do you remain relevant? The only way you can remain relevant is by now becoming a consultant, coming to work with the government, not for the government, with the government as a consultant. And that's why now I say the 5th level, the 5th stage is now where you exit in a style. And you just know what it means by consultant. Consultant, I'm paying more money. I'm doing consultancy for government here in Kenya. I never worked for government, but I went to do a course and empowered myself. And right now I'm training board of directors in almost all government agencies. Because the one lesson they don't know is, for example, I'm giving myself as an example, I train them corporate governance. You realize that the board of directors in any government agency, in Nigeria, in Ghana, in Kenya, anywhere, there are people who have been handpicked by politicians who are now on the current government to become the chairman or to become the CEO who is going to. These are a matter of handpicking. Most of these people have never done corporate, they've never managed any corporate, but they have to be there to make decisions on behalf. And so I jumped into it and trained them. So what does that tell you? It means you don't wait as a police officer to work for 25 years in police force. Jump out and start a security firm. You are here, you are listening to me. You don't get employed as a saloonist for 20 years. Jump out and start your own salon. You don't teach for 25, 30 years. Jump out and start your own school. Yes, you heard me right. So when I'm talking about career development, it's a journey that you start with right from the time you're in school to the time of past employment, which is post retirement. Now, starting off, let me just take you through this. Our learning objective is to explain integration of individual and organizational needs, describe conditions leading to success, discuss matching jobs with individual desire, describe methods used in career development. And generally, I think I've already given the briefing story about career journey. And so there are different ways of describing what a career is. We say a career is a progress or a general course of action of a person in some profession. A career, just a progress or a general course of action of a person in some process. We can also say specific job that a person performs, the kind of responsibilities, activities that comprise those jobs, movement and transition between one job and the other job, right? But now here we are talking about development. Career development is a formal approach used by the firms to ensure that the people with proper qualification and experience are available when needed. Career development benefits both employees as well as the organization. Organizations need to have career development program and integrate the function with the HR activities. That's why you see some of us as trainers, we can never lack jobs. Because for any company to grow, the staff must become competent, become more skilled, and fill the gaps. And many times they don't go back to universities. They call some of us to go and train them. So when the team is empowered, then they become a performing team. A performing team causes or creates a productive company. A productive company then leads to growth. So you see, I identified a niche in that. On another third point, that's why I come in. So HR programs always integrate, they bring in part of training programs to make sure that career-wise, the employees are developing for the company to grow, right? Now, these are just different descriptions, but what are the roles of career development? Roles of career, the roles of two parties are crucial in the career development. That is the employer and the employee. What is the employer's role? Proactive, to encourage and to reward those who are building their career. I repeat, they must be proactive. As an employee, he must be proactive. He must always encourage learning. He must always encourage the employees to advance in their skills, to practice, to become more competent, and those who seem to be doing better to be rewarded. You see, that gives a drive for people now to see why it's important for them to develop their career. But for employees, it's important to keep on assessing your own knowledge factors. It's always important to keep assessing your abilities, to seek out information about career options. Keep on seeking information about the options. So you don't just sit there and say, now I graduated, I've gotten a job, now my focus is on what I do and how much I earn. No. Career options could mean that, is there a way I can advance and earn better? Is there a way I can go back to school? I was hired when I have only a degree. Can I go for the second one? And how will that second degree help me to earn better or perform better? Or can I go and do a master's? How will that master's get me in a promotion? Is it relevant in the industry I am in? You know, those are the career options you look into. Make use of development opportunities provided in the organization. There are organizations which also provide scholarships, or there's an opportunity for you to get a loan or funding by the organization to study further and be deducted on your salary step by step, slowly by slowly. Take advantage of those kind of opportunities. And you must make sure you establish a goal and a plan. Remember, I mentioned the word plan on the second phase. I'll go back on number 4 again. Initially, I said this initial stage, planning stage, execution stage, and exiting stage or the closing stage. So you see planning comes there. When you are planning, make sure you plan the next 10 years, the next 20 years. You must keep on looking at the global market. Like what's the trending career paths? Not all career paths are trending. Just like I've told you, long time it was like the older you are in organization, the more the sooner, I mean, the higher the chance of getting a promotion because of your experience. Everything was analog, so age was a factor. And that's why you could realize also that those people who became successful and they became rich and they bought a car, they were 40, 50 years of age. But you do realize in 90s and the new millennium 2000, that shift has been realized after technology got into place. The older guys could not be able to capture well in the digital world, but the young people are very sharp. They were born touching some of these devices, you know, using computers and any other things. So they become techno-savvy at younger age. And because industries requires now techno-savvy employees, you realize now the younger generation is highly appreciated. It's very easy right now to go companies and find like 3/4 of the employees are young people under the age of 35. And maybe the senior manager or two, like 10%, 15% are people above 45 years of age. Why? So it's always important to look forward and plan well that which career will be the trending one. Then accept that career planning and development are your own responsibility. It is not the responsibility of your employer. By the way, I always tell people, it's not the responsibility of your employer to promote you. It's your responsibility. Remain relevant in a manner that you become indispensable, right? So that's your role as far as career development is concerned, and the role of employer has been put there. So career development initiatives. What are some of these initiatives that you need to start attending for you to build your career? Number 1 is career planning workshops. Attend these workshops. It's your personal initiative. Take time. Hang around with people who have succeeded in the area you are in. When you attend these workshops, just like I heard Bankole said, these workshops are rare. These kind of platforms are rare. People pay to get this knowledge. Here you are being given this for free. Right? When you attend this, you are more better than someone who is still celebrating Easter holiday for the next 3 days. You've chosen to make this your Easter. It's important because you might learn something that it will make a whole difference in your knowledge as far as career progression is concerned. Then go for career counseling. It's always good to, when you're at the age of 20, you are being counseled by someone who is 10 years ahead of you, someone who is in 30. He might have made a mistake. Career mistakes are usually made. And I'm talking about someone in the same maybe line. You're doing finance, someone has been working as a finance officer for the last 5-10 years. Ask them questions. Ask them if there's anything they're regretting in their career path. If they tell you yes, ask them which one is it. Let them tell you, don't repeat the same mistake. Career counseling. If you are 30 years, you're in the same industry with someone who is in 40, go to that person, befriend them, ask them, how do they make it there? How is it paying them back? What can you be able to do to get there? Career counseling, it's very important. And that goes hand in hand in mentorship, right? In counseling, we are identifying line of weaknesses and correcting them. But in mentorship, we are building up on pillars of success. Hope you're understanding the difference. Career counseling, we identify line of weaknesses, the mistakes that might have been made by other people, and correcting them before you go to make them. When you face them, you can realize, yes, I was warned about this. It's just like we warn young people or our children about relationship. When they get into adolescence, we start preparing them in advance for bad companies and how the characteristics of those kind of young people, how they look like the bad companies. So when they meet one, it's not a wonder. I was told about this. Now, the same thing happens in career. We tell them in advance. I thought of my peer influenced me to buy a car, to buy a Subaru, instead of buying a plot or buying a house. Now I have a car, it's a depreciating asset. Now the money I was supposed to use for career development, now I'm struggling to build, I'm struggling to educate. Someone should be advising you that even as you get the age of 30 and 40, it's an active family development age. You are giving birth, you are becoming a father at 33, at 25, 30, 35. Somebody should be telling you that those are projects that will chew away your money. Children are no longer assets. Children are liability. Economically, children are liability. The moment you give birth, you have to start spending money on their health, on their clothing, on their food, on their education. An average child has to be educated for 23 years. Get that right, if you're listening to me. So that means if you start giving birth at the age of 25, now 25, you're going to be in charge of that kid for the next 23 years. 25 plus 23 is 48 years. So that project will end at the age of 25, at the age of 48. That's common sense. And you get the second child at the age of 28, 28 plus 23, that's 51. And you get another child at the age of 35, 35 plus 23, that's 58. Now, can you imagine someone who has 25 children and you have to educate all of them? Now, will you ever get money to go back to school? Will you be educating yourself or will you be educating children? These are things we need to keep on asking ourselves. You know, the question that we never ask ourselves, because nobody was there to mentor us. Nobody was there to mentor us. You know, and it's part of career. Sometimes we think we cannot incorporate family planning, family engagements with our career. They do affect. Even marrying the wrong spouse who does not support your goals and your career, it can be suicidal, career suicidal on its own. So you'll spend all your life quarreling than learning. I mean, there are so many things we can talk about that on that part of career counseling and career mentorship. Then sabbatical leaves. The moment you get these leaves, could you make use of them? Go back to school, go for extra mile. These days we have online classes, do the same. Then personal development plans. And I've just talked about personal development includes, do you want to build your own home? Do you have a family to raise? Do you have children to educate? Do you have brothers to support? Do you have projects you want to run and become somebody? All those things should be incorporated in your planning, right? And that's why I said, be careful the 4 main plans. Career development is a whole 3-day course, which we just take time to explain all these things one by one. By the time you're living there, you're no longer the same person again. Then when it comes to individual career development, we talk about performance. Don't wait for your supervisor or your HR officer to ask you, how are you doing? Keep on evaluating yourself. Performance. Make sure you are a performer. In whatever job you are given, you are a performer. Right? And if you don't know, you've been put in a position, in a job position, or given a role where you're still weak. Identify skills, build your competency. End result is you must be a performer. Another thing is exposure. My friend, expose yourself. We have internet all over. Read, study, listen. Watch watch some of these career talks. Watch speakers from different countries talking different on topical areas. That's part of exposure. You see, long-time exposure only meant go to the library or travel. But now, the world has been brought on your screen. If you cannot afford to travel, at least expose yourself by watching those speakers from different countries. Follow those documentaries, listen to them. You must be very specific in the particular area. Of course, you have documentaries for all areas. If you are dealing with the wild animal, you have those geographical. If you're in education, if you're in finance, if you're in engineering, look for those documentaries. Listen to them. That gives you an exposure. Networking, I just brought it earlier, right? People will give people their trust. And it's easy to be trusted if you're already known by that person. than introducing yourself afresh. In sales, we call it a cold call. A cold call is me when I'm calling Bankole. I was just given call that guy and I want to sell insurance to you. I don't know him. And I say, my name is Gershom. I even fear saying who gave me your number, and I'm trying to introduce myself. But you see, if I already know you in person, oh, my friend, how are you doing? You see, the conversation has started from another level. It's a warm conversation. How have you been since we left each other in Kigali? But then I'm coming to visit Nigeria and I need some accommodation. Oh, straight away, I've saved myself from the expense in a hotel, and his family is willing to accommodate because there's a relationship. It's very difficult for me to stand on Lagos Street and I say, who can accommodate me? I mean, how many people will trust me in their space, their family? Then when I call Bankole and say, I know you, right? I'm stranded here. In fact, he'll go out of his way to make sure he comes. Why? Because he already knows me. So you see, networking is building up special contacts, valued contacts. People can support you when you need that contact most, when you need that space most, when you need that advice most. And actually, let me tell you, networking creates what's called social capital. Networking brings about what's called economic network. Networking in itself, it gives you an easy way and it saves you a lot of resources and time, networking. So never give networking a lame chance. Always give it first priority. Even when you're going that out, right, to meet your friends, go network yourself. Keep exchanging contacts. But don't forget, networking also goes hand in hand with something called personal branding. Bankole, there's a whole topic on personal branding, which goes hand in hand with networking. You don't come to me, now you've known me. Yes, after knowing you, now I go do background search about you. And what am I discovering about you? You've been involved in theft. You've been involved in many other scandals. There are ladies on social media following you up. You impregnated them and you disappeared. You become a personal branding is also getting to know that you are a product in public. And everybody wants to buy a well-packaged product. That is key. So it's one thing networking yourself. It's another thing branding yourself, that in the event now I want to know whom am I dealing with. I find a well-packaged person. Just remember an old saying from India, nobody will accept a free gift of unwrapped sweet. Nobody will accept it. We know how sweets are. But so long as it's unwrapped, nobody will pick it. No one. If I gave you 10 chocolate sweets and 3 of them are not packed, they are out of the wrapping, all of you will keep on picking the one that is wrapped very well, and you'll leave the one that is naked. What does that tell you? So never leave yourself naked in public. When I'm talking about being naked, you know what I mean? That your character must never be a questionable one. Your image must always be the right corporate image. If you want to work, and that's why most young people are really failing it. They become brand ambassadors of musicians all over the world for free. Nobody's paying them. On TikTok, some of them twerking and twerking all over on TikTok. Then once that energy of twerking is out of their body, now they start looking for a serious job. They forget there are so many videos which are describing them wrongly, like young prostitutes. My friend, so networking goes hand in hand with personal branding, right? Then leveraging yourself, it's also very important. Where do I belong? At what scale am I? Then loyalty to your career. You don't have to keep on jumping. Today you're a mechanic. Tomorrow you want to be an IT engineer. The other day you're a preacher. The other day you want to do fashion designing. Loyalty to your career. Choose what you love doing and do it all your heart. Then look for mentors, right? All these are the things that you need to just be following up to make sure that you are building your personal career. Now, the stages of career development, I'm going to take you through. I might have spoken some of these things already, but allow me to just repeat them. Stage number one, as you can see, it is driving you from age 0 to age 25. Could someone tell me why we are putting age 0? I know we go to school from the age of, like the real schooling starts at the age of 7. Anything below 6, 5, 4 years of age is not schooling. That's not schooling. Yes. And I'll tell you why. That's commercializing education. If you take your child to school under the age of 6, it's commercializing business, it's a commercializing education. That's not a real education. And I'll tell you why. Psychologists have proved it. You know, so I'm starting from age 7 is when you go to class 1. But who can tell me why we are starting with 0? Can someone try to guess? Any guess?
Hello?
Yes, please.
I think because even a small child learns something even from home. They start to learn eating, they have to learn talking, they have to learn walking and all that.
Wow. Oh, great. Now, it's been said that almost everything attached to you affects your career. Everything. From the psychological part of it. And let me ask you a question. Do you know that by the time your child is getting to age 2 years of age, whatever they observe or they get exposed to from age 2 to age 5 can affect their kind of sexual behavior when they get to the age of 16 going upwards? I'll tell you why. From age 0 to age 2, children don't know whether they are male or female. They don't know. Yes, your child or your brother under age of 2, you don't know whether I'm a boy or I'm a girl. They don't know. In sociology, you call it sexual age at the age of 2. Now, 2 children know I'm a boy, I'm a girl. They know from age 2. And what happens? You realize at that particular age, boys get so much, they look for their first, I'm talking about boys, they look for their first girlfriend. Age 2. And it happens that the most dominant female in the family becomes the girlfriend, and that's why boys fall in love with their mother. Girls at age 2. In fact, girls started early at the age of 18 months, 1.5 years. They get in their first relationship. The moment they realize I'm a girl, they get in their first relationship. And they look for a first boyfriend. And who is the first boyfriend? The most dominant male in the family. And who is that? The father. And that's why girls are more attached to their fathers. Boys are more attached to their mothers. Now, between age 2 to age 5, the brain of a child will have developed up to the age of 5 years. The brain of a child will have developed up to 85%. And that brain becomes magnetic. What does it mean? From age 5 to age 9, whatever you tell them, they believe it like a Bible verse. And because character education is key in the success journey of anyone's career, what we need to teach them the right character from that age 2, when their brain starts becoming rapidly growing, all the way to age 9. So anything you tell them, if you don't teach them manners, that's where the first school is. And that's what I'm saying. Anything like taking a child to school before he's 8 years of age, that's commercializing education. The first school of a child is at home, where they are taught honesty, they are taught respect, they are taught sincerity, they are taught love, they are taught sharing, they are taught how to say thank you, they are taught how to say I'm sorry, they are taught how to say excuse me. School, the first school is at home. And that's where the original education is. Go to the Bible. The Bible tells you simple. Teach your children the way of the Lord. And when they grow up, what will happen? They will never depart from it because their brain is magnetic. Whatever you teach them, if you want to teach them your culture, teach them before they get the age of 10 years. Because, by the way, if you do not teach them, the other channels of lessons are coming to them. They'll be taught by internet. They'll be taught by that house help. They'll be taught by anybody they come across. They are just there to learn. Good. Now you see, career development does not start in university. By the time in the university, you're supposed to have learned character. Your character is supposed to have equipped you well to cope up with the society. And that's why we test our children by taking them to the boarding school in high school, not in primary. Taking children to boarding primary is again commercializing business. Somebody wants to make money through boarding facility. Children must remain with the first school day to day, being monitored by their parents up to the time they get to the age of 14. Now, you see, today we are talking about matter to do with education. I wish there was a forum on education separate, because education definitely affects career, the career journey. But why are we having children who are totally rotten in their character in the university? Why? Because we neglected. Nobody has taught us about the education that is impacted in our children, which is a basis of career foundation when they are at home. If you don't teach your children to share before they get to age 10, forget that they'll ever share anything in school. Forget that they'll share anything, even knowledge. They can't even share notes in the university. They can't. So tell me, that's a graduate who cannot share. What about when they get now to the job market? They can't even share a desk. They can't share office resources. They can't share knowledge. So where will the teamwork come from if you're going to be talking about in the next stages? You see, that's why the foundation starts from there. In the African context, we were put together in age sets and eat together, and no one is left out. If you're supposed to be given food seated around your plate or the big what do you call it, platter, if one had gone to tie up the goat, we have to wait for him. He gets here, he washes the hand, and then we all eat together. Those who are from age 10 to age 20, we are given a set. Those who are adults, they are eating on their own. And the food was shared amongst, it was a set. So it taught us sharing. It taught us patience. So some of this African culture we are trying to ignore in the name of civilization, I mean, we are deleting it away of our practice, and it goes with the values that will never recover. And that's still part of preparation for work, stage 1. So when you see 0 to 25, the major task is develop occupation, develop self-image, assess alternative occupation, develop initial occupational choices, pursue necessary education. All that is done within 25 years. Stage 2, organizational entry. Remember when I told you now you go to planning stage. It starts from age 18 to 25. The major task here, obtain the job offer. If there's any job offer you are given, just take it. Take it. Before you are 25, take it, do anything. There's a sales promotion here, go and do it. There's a volunteering job in a construction site here, go and volunteer. There's a volunteer job in church, yes, go and volunteer. There's something, people who need to be painting here and there, and go distribute flyers in the estate, in the city of Lagos, go and volunteer. Just do something as you prepare yourself to plan for the next level. Then from 25 to 40 is called the early career. You see now where the word early career is coming from. From 25, which means now you've already done your planning. Now it's now execution time. You're executing. And the major task is learn the job. You're no longer now guessing on what you want to do. Now you're settling for something specific. Before you are 25, do anything that comes your way to make your own money. But the moment you are 25 years of age, now you're supposed to have settled for something very specific. Learn the job, learn organizational rules, learn the norms, fit into chosen occupations and organization, increase competency. So this is the time to go and do your masters. I really don't like this scenario of young people doing masters before you're 25 years of age. I don't like it. Do you know how old I am? I already have a master's. My friend, sometimes you're taking some pills too early. I'll choose to do a master. I will advise someone to do a master between age 25 and 40. Especially in your 30s, do your masters. By that time, you're already now doing what you really want to settle for good. Right? So you are now pursuing your goal. Okay? I'm looking for way. I don't know why my slide is not moving forward. Okay, fine. There I am. Stage 4, we call the middle career. 40, 55, another 15 years. The major task is reappraise early career and early adulthood. Reaffirm or modify your goals. Make choices appropriate to middle adult year. Remain productive at work. Now, what are we talking about at this particular stage? If you are to ask me, with the current economic trend, global current economic trend, by the time you are getting to 40, you are supposed to have earned your 15 to 20 years experience. That is enough to start thinking about registering your own company. If you've been an accountant, think about now getting into audit. So you register an audit firm. If you've made your money, start maybe a lending institution, a microfinance, start something, in your career path. That's why I said, as a teacher, you should be thinking about starting a school. As a doctor, think about starting a hospital. As a nurse, as a pharmacist, think about starting your own chemist. As a beautician, as a saloonist, think about setting up your own barbershop. As in, now you're magnifying your career path to something bigger. Because let me tell you, many people don't know this. And I think I said this last time. Your children will never inherit your payslip, however fat it is. In fact, if you die today and you're a CEO in a company, let me tell you, before you are buried, there'll be an advertisement on the newspaper to replace your position. And the sooner you are buried, you'll be forgotten. And your children will never inherit your payslip. Listen to what I'm telling you when we're discussing age 40, age 55. Listen and listen very carefully. But when you start your own company, be guaranteed the company will be in your name. Even if you're not there, you can mentor your children to inherit up and take over the management of your company, the management of your enterprise. It's very possible. So age 40, 55 is reappraise early career. Think about starting your own business. Is the early adulthood. Reaffirm or modify your goals. It's not time to start gambling. You know something? Why I'm talking about 40, 55, you should be having your own company, because companies now tend to start retrenching those people who are becoming irrelevant and retaining those who have a long way to go to work for companies. The current trend. So stage 5 is called the late career. 55, you're heading towards what's called there, you can see it's written, retirement. So what's your major task? Remain productive at work, maintain self-esteem. Don't start thinking in terms of now becoming irrelevant. After all, if you've registered your own company and now you're already starting to run, making mistakes before you quit the employment, you perfect your own business before you quit employment, you don't need to feel frustrated, because in fact, for you want retirement to come early enough. So now you can jump just into your business. And of course, later I said, do not forget, do not leave out post-retirement career, which you call, I call it what? The consultancy. Yes, consultancy. You've been working with the Ministry of Water, Ministry of Works for a long time. If you are an engineer, go and start consultancy on engineering. Go start consultancy on water systems. Go start consultancy on construction. Go start consultancy in whatever field you are in, because that's the only part that computer can never replace, consultancy. Right. Though I saw they were in a workshop this week, and we saw how threatening artificial intelligence is going again to chew almost 50% of consultancy work. Many times we could ask students to come and we train them how to write a good CV, how to, prepare a good proposal, something like that. I've seen there now through artificial intelligence, now a computer can be able to help you do that. So you see, we're becoming irrelevant at a very early age. By the time you're 35, 40 now, you're becoming irrelevant to companies. And when retrenchment comes, you'll be among the first people to be knocked out. So specific career development activities, as I said earlier, career counseling, career pathing, inventory skills, transfers, go for trainings, job posting, promotion, all the things that you need to be thinking about, right? What are the characteristics of career development? Characteristics of career development. It is an ongoing process. It's continuous and non-stop. Yes, continuous and non-stop. It develops and shares transferability of skills and competencies. If your skills are not becoming transferable, if you're studying in the university and you're studying a course that you don't love, which means you cannot transfer that knowledge into a skill. If you're working in a job you don't love, which means you cannot transfer those skills in your own self-employment. You see? So make sure that you're developing skills and competences that are transferable, that can be used in the next level, in the next stage, in the 5 stages I've talked to you about. Another characteristic is it aligns individual goals with organizational goals. Make sure your personal goals are attached to organizational goals. So you respect where you're working, and where you're working can see your value and also respect your goal in the equal measure. If you are telling your boss that, by the way, I want to build my own home in the next 5 years, but for me to do that, I also want to help the company to grow to another level, then there's that mutual respect. The company will support you also as you also support the company to grow. Another characteristic is it helps individuals to develop skills and competences required to fulfill present, future leadership roles within the organization. I think the theme of this conversation today was about the past, the present, and the future. So you should be able to build skills that are relevant for tomorrow, not the ones which are going to become obsolete in the next season. And that's why looking forward, looking far is very important. It strengthens also professional work culture in an organization. That becomes the part of the characteristics. So what are the objectives of career development? To understand career development from a developmental and multicultural perspective. Why we talk about developmental and multicultural perspective is because every skill we learn, every course we take, every skill we acquire, and every competence we build should be towards the development from personal level to organizational to the nation and to the globe. Multicultural, that even as you move to other markets where you're meeting people from different cultures, they should still find you relevant. I might migrate or shift to German today. I might not know how to speak German, but my skills in the structural engineering should make me remain relevant in German, even if I'm coming from Nigeria or from Kenya. Very important. Another objective is to devise intervention strategies for developing, engaging, rewarding, and retaining talent. So even as you build your career, think about the same areas: engaging, rewarding, retaining talent. It's very important. And then to be able to discuss and apply models of career counseling that is appropriate for an organization. Another one is to understand the use of assessment procedures in career development intervention. Assessment procedures. How do you keep on assessing yourself and know that you're still on track? That you're not only on track, but you are relevant. Remaining relevant at this particular time is very important. Why? Because we can see there are skills which are becoming obsolete at a very fast rate. Very, very fast rate. Why? Because of technology, because of artificial intelligence. The other day we were being told now, conventional marketing became obsolete. It's an analog style. Then social media came in place. It replaced many of us of work. Now we are being told that social media is going to become irrelevant. Now artificial intelligence is taking over from social media marketing. where you tap on an advert or a certain story on Facebook, on TikTok, or Instagram. And what does artificial intelligence do? It brings you many other like stories like the one you tapped. If you tapped someone selling shoes, now artificial intelligence will bring you many other, platforms that are selling shoes. Yes, take it right. Or you see something, a pornographic content, and you tap on it because of curiosity that killed the cat. Guess what happens? Artificial intelligence will send you many other prostitutional platforms, and then you wonder who is calling all these prostitutes on my screen. It's artificial intelligence doing that. Now you can imagine. So with that, you pay money, you map the area you want your adverts to go, and it features anybody who opens any social media platform wherever they are. And so we don't need many salespeople anymore. We no longer need many marketers anymore. If you used to pay 20 of them to do marketing for you on the streets, now social media marketing is doing the same. That's why you see the first thing that technologists did was to make sure almost everybody has a smartphone or a smart gadget. So when they start sending these things online, they can reach you at the comfort of your desk. If you're still developing careers towards going to work, like morning to evening, an 8 to 5 o'clock kind of a skill need or a skill set, please start thinking again, because very soon companies will not need you to go to work. They'll need you to have the competencies, computer competencies, stay at home and do the job. Today alone, I've attended 5 interviews. One, it was from Luxembourg. There was another one in Canada. There was another one in UK. Today, and there was 2 in South Africa. They are looking for people who can be able to help in content development, content editing, report writing, and such kind of stuff. Where am I? I'm in Kenya. So am I going to be reporting at Luxembourg every day? No. They want someone who is competent online. You do the report online, get the work online, post them online, and get to be paid online. You know what I'm talking about now. So it means the kind of skill sets you are developing, hope they're going to be relevant long enough not to spend too much money in the university and then 5 years, by the time you're graduating, your skills are no longer needed. What a waste. Think. So also to understand how to use technology in your career development, I think I've said that in depth, so I don't repeat the same. To facilitate understanding of personal, social, economic, and other factors related to the world of work for employees throughout the organizational lifespan. And I think I've explained that again through the technology, relating technology and career development, so I'm not going to repeat that again, right? Now, the final is to identify development appropriate and culturally sensitive strategies for addressing the career development needs of employee. But that one goes more to employer than employees. Now, what is the importance of career development? As I start winding up towards the end, it means it helps in developing skills and competences of employees for initiating, expanding, managing an organization effectively. All companies want to expand. Companies, when they're doing what they call strategic plan, meaning what they want to be, where they want to be in the next 5 to 10 years, they must also be developing a workforce with the same skill set which will be needed when the company has expanded to that level. That's why it's important to develop people's career or employees' career. It helps in developing entrepreneurship spirit, potential amongst employees in order to make them successful innovators. Now, innovation works well in employment, but if you're to ask me, innovation makes you become a better entrepreneur. When you jump out at the age of 40, at the age of 55 to start your own business, you see, this will have already equipped you well, right? On how you can start on your own and progress. Then to facilitate the acquisition of requisite skills, knowledge, and the competence of the organizational excellency. Now, another one is to develop and create a pool of talented people. Yes, you just don't want to have people, but you want to have people who are reliable, people who are talented, people who can be able to be given a task and they can be able to execute. for the organizational growth. To devise and implement a talent management system in the organization, talent development system. Now, this might look like I'm addressing managers who have companies that they won't develop. But yes, if you are an employer or an employer, hope this is getting to sink into you very, very well. You need a team that is well developed, a team that is, is well equipped. Somebody, a HR asked me a question. Gershom, I have a problem. And I was like, what's the problem? I'm worried of training my people. I train them and they quit. I train them. Once they become competent, they are taken away by other companies. Now, I don't think I'm ready to spend money and resources in training a team. I told them that's not a problem. Can you imagine when you don't train your team and they stick much longer? You can imagine paying a salary to people who are very incompetent. So train them anyway. Training is a must. Keep on sharpening your axe. It's like telling me, I have an axe that I use in cutting my trees, but I'm worried where I stay, people steal axes. Yeah, people steal axe. Whenever you find it, they'll steal it. So there's no need of sharpening my axe. So when they steal, they'll be stealing a blunt one. My friend, what happens when you use a blunt axe to cut your trees and it's never stolen? Who is going to suffer? So you must devise and implement a talent development system, in your company, so that you're always sharpening the competence and the skills of your employee. And finally, is to facilitate succession plan and development to ensure long-term growth and success of the organization. When talk about succession plan, let me first of all put in 2 dimensions. One is family business, another one is a company. Family business. Now, these are conversations I usually have with the people who are 50, 55, 60 years of age. And many of them in their old age, they cling so much into being the people controlling almost everything from planning to sourcing, to financing, to everything. And they're aging. Instead of picking up on 1, 2 young sons and daughters who have interest in their business and start mentoring them on how to take over family business. I don't know whether it happens in Nigeria. It's very common in Kenya that the moment the founder of the company dies, the company starts going down and it follows him in the grave. I don't know why it's common. Here in Kenya, it's very, very common. Why? Because the old age don't want to go through a succession program where they train their young sons and daughters to start taking over the management of the business from initial stage to planning to executing. So that by the time they're exiting, their team that is executing and the company will grow. I don't know whether it's happening in Nigeria, but it's very, very common. So succession planning is very important at family level. For organization, it's important that employers identify the young, talented people in the organization and start training them how to take over some responsibilities, some mandates. I came certainly as a sales executive, but soon I've become a sales trainer. Before I realize I'm a sales supervisor, then I'm promoted to become a sales manager, then soon I become a sales director. That company will grow. But this case where people, when they realize that now you're becoming so eloquent, you're becoming so skilled, and now somebody starts now going to look for juju, to make sure that you do not succeed them. You do not become a threat in their career development. You don't get promoted simply because you are younger but more talented, and that person is old but with less skills. Those things, hope they are fading with the time, and AI will eliminate them without notice, right? Principles of career development: dissemination of current information about the organization and future trends helps employee to create more realistic career development goals. Dissemination of current information. Be informed. Get to know where this company is going. If you're in business, get to know where the global market is directing us to. Get informed. We might be assuming, we might be ignoring, but the truth of the matter is, let me tell you, it started by young people forgetting to speak their own language. It went to the young generation ignoring the rules of their nation, comparing with other nations. It moved to, and let me tell you where it's going to move next to. It's going to move to the next generation ignoring what Naira is. And what the Central Bank of Nigeria is saying, and what the Central Bank of Kenya is saying. And they'll move into cryptocurrency, digital currency. If everything I'm doing is digital, I'm telling you in the future, the currency will be digital. I know of countries right now where you can be able to pay with Bitcoins. You buy goods and services in exchange with Bitcoins. I know. But do you know why? Do you know what? The old generation who are in power, they're in 70s, 60s, 50s. You can never convince them that there's something called digital currency. But if I come to Nigeria, am I not buying airtime with digital money? Do you have mobile money? Do you have mobile money? In Kenya, we have M-Pesa. Can someone tell me whether you have mobile money? You are buying goods and services with the money you don't see. It's just transferred on your phone. What does that tell you? That the future, the next 20 years, those coins and notes you're carrying, you will not be counting them. Everything will be on the screen. So you see, with that understanding, then how do we prepare ourselves? What kind of skills and competencies do we prepare ourselves with so that we become more realistic with career development? Then focus on skill development by providing learning opportunities. If you are an organization, opportunities for promotion and little moves contributes to employees' career satisfaction. Okay, now, I think this slide here is a repeat of what I said earlier. The remaining part now is more theory. It's the theory of career development. I'm not going to go into that. That should not be part of our conversation today. I would wish to stop there because this is just like case studies, not theory. Who came up with this theory and what did he say? There are about like 15 theories there. I'm not going to give you all that. It really doesn't help for now. But up to where I've taught you, I think we are now good for question and answer. Then we can be able to wrap it up together for the night. Mr. Bankole, back to you.
Wow. Awesome. 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 Thank you very much for that extensive and quite impactful sharing with us from your wealth of experience and knowledge. Thank you very much.
Thank you. If there's any question,
yeah, so
I'm ready to see.
Yeah, so anyone with any question, please, this is the time to ask your question. This is the time to ask a question about career. Maybe you're even planning to switch career. You know, how do you manage that switch? How do you go about it? You know, we've learned a lot about career progression from the past up until now and also in the future. So it's enough to get us thinking, you know, just to get us thinking. What exactly are you doing now? You also talked about, in fact, I like the fact that you touched on this, which I mean, I really found it very, very, very critical. As far as I'm concerned, you talked about the business side of a career, which is very vital. There's always a business side to every career. And your children will not inherit your payslip, but they can inherit the business opportunities you've created out of your career. It's a strong and valid point. Very, very important. You know, you also talked about the fact that, why people, it doesn't make any sense for a company to be investing on a maybe 45 or 50-year-old to train you and only for you to work for the next 5 years until you retire. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense for a company to invest in a 45-year-old and then you work 5 years until 50, then you retire. So they would rather prefer to invest in people who are in their early 20s, early 30s, late 30s, and all that. So these are major points that I think we all took note of, and not just taking notes of these things. It's also important to factor them in when you are thinking about career, even when you are advising people and talking to people about career. It might be your family members, it might be you, it might be your friends or relatives, anybody at all. Whatever you have learned today, you can also pass it across to other people and use it to help other people. So I picked a couple of things there. So does anyone have any question, or if there are any questions, we also normally have a link where people drop questions, maybe later on, maybe even those who will watch the video, who will watch the video on YouTube or whatever platform, maybe anytime they have any question, they can always drop the question in that link. So we have a link like a pool of questions. People drop their questions there, so we can always reach out with those questions so that you can provide answers to them. But if anyone has any question here tonight, so you can quickly ask your question. Okay. Anyone with any question?
Including complain and compliment.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
You have a complaint to make, a compliment to make, apart from a question.
Compliment. No complaints. No complaints. Only compliments and questions. Okay. So
I think everybody should be able to talk. This is a platform where everybody has to at least, I appreciate to hear from. We are not many, so
yes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yes, it's important. So I think people can unmute and talk, even if it's a compliment you want to give. So talk, unmute yourself, talk. If you have a question, ask. If it's a compliment you want to give your compliment. Yes, I support that. So let's start with Akin Sonya Olawale, please.
Hello, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening to you.
Yes, good
Hello,
evening.
sir.
Yes, we can hear you.
Good evening, sir.
Right.
Okay, I would actually start from giving a compliment by saying thank you for this section. We are very grateful because it is actually very rare to get this kind of opportunities for free and things like that. And also, my question will be that there is a part where you mentioned that in some aspects where some organization train people, and then at the end of the day, they lose those people in short period of time to other organizations. So if we're a situation whereby you are the owner of the organization, I didn't get that part. What are you expected to do in order to retain those people in your organization? Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome. Thank you for the question. The question you need to be asking yourself is, when do people quit? People quit when they can't see relevancy anymore in whatever they're chasing. People quit because they cannot see tomorrow where they're heading to. If people don't see a future in your organization, even if you've been taking care of them very, very well, they'll quit you. So 2 things must be done. As we invest into their training, in developing them, also show them that what they're going to achieve after the development. If they become more skilled, is there room for them to be promoted? If there's no room for promotion, then they'll study. At the end of the study, at the end of being trained by you, they'll go where they can get promoted. You realize most people, if they're earning $300 in your company, the next place they're going to be working, they're going to demand for $350. Why? Because you're no longer giving them a room for promotion or a hope that they're going to grow with you. That's why most people quit. Number 3 is bad relationship or poor relationship. If there's no good relationship at workplace, you realize that people will only want to gain what they can be able to get and quit. Why do people wait just after they get their salary, then they disappear? On Monday, they're not reporting to work. Because they're only waiting for the last value, which was their pay slip. They disappear.
Yeah.
But when you build a good relationship with the people, They'll always notify you whenever they feel dissatisfied, because the relationship gives them also room to air their views. You know, there are many other reasons. Again, toxic working environment. Actually, there are usually 9 major reasons why people quit. Toxic working environment. That the workplace has it becomes so toxic. It's not even about the boss. It's about just the people among themselves. They relate very, very poorly. You know, people are backstabbing each other. People are, like biting. They're sabotaging each other. There's no teamwork. In that kind of environment, people are likely to only get what they want to win, and then they quit. They go another place where they can find a peace of mind. So there are quite a number of reasons why people would want to quit. Otherwise, the 3 things you have to do is develop them, show them tomorrow how bright it's going to be with the organization, and have a very, very, very close relationship with them, right? Let them respect you as their boss, as the employer, but besides that, have a very good working relationship, that even when they're feeling of quitting, just by feel, they can be able to have the confidence to come to you and tell you what they're feeling. And by so doing, you also need to be a listening leader. That when you listen and say, and even ask them, so what do you think we can be able to do to grow together? Let them give you the expectations. So even as you align your policies as an organization, you align your policies within the expectation. And that's how you see them now sticking by. There's nothing as good as employees taking ownership of the organization. That way you can even go for a holiday and still make profits.
Yeah, thank you very much for that answer. I hope that's
okay. Thank you very much, sir. Yes, sir. It answers my question, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
Okay. Thank you very much. And also, Samu is joining us from Qatar, and this is our first time. Is it her or he? Sorry,
it's she.
He,
it's
right?
Share here.
She. Okay. Yeah, I just want to be sure. Okay, so this is our first time.
I'm very happy that I can see Samu here. You know, I'm the one who invited Samu, right?
I suspected that too.
She's from Eswatini, and she's been my very good student everywhere I go. Samu, you're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Gary. Yes, that's the power of networking. I met Mr. Gary in South Africa, Durban, in a workshop. We're attending a workshop there. So, yeah, I got more from his teachings that I kept on asking him, what can I do for my career? What can I do? And then here we are today. He shared this. I'm learning today, and I'm hoping I'll be learning more and more. Yes, my question is directed to individual career development.
Yes.
On the performance, when we are given a new task, where do you start?
Where do you start? Now, if you're given a new task, number one, it's because whoever has given you the task either trusts that you already have the ability to deliver.
Yeah.
But just in the event that you are given a task and you don't know how to deliver, it doesn't cost anything. There must always be someone ahead of you who is more equipped, is more talented, is more competent, and he has skills. Never hesitate to ask for support. That's how we grow. In fact, when you get promoted or you're given a new task just like this, as people are congratulating you, even in your speech, what you need to say, thank you very much for the opportunity. Thank you for trusting me into taking this new task. I know it's going to be a bit challenging here and there. Please be willing to give me a helping hand whenever I ask for any support, especially so and so and so. And you mentioned the people you respect to be in the same field better than you. That's how you build a relationship, but also it's another way of putting an alert in advance that in case I make a mistake, please bear with me because I'm learning my way to the top. You see, that's how you do it. But besides that, take yourself again to school. Sometimes I say it is the responsibility that calls for further education. Today, if I'm promoted to become a sales director and I don't know much about sales and being in a position of a director, what do I need to do? I just go to do a degree that can be able to enhance my skills in that line. You know, that's why you see in everything, every job you are given like 3 months adoption, 6 months to start performing, 1 year to be appraised on your performance. What can you be able to do in a whole year? You can only improve. Let me also give this from a different perspective. I've seen cases where when I'm training government officials in Kenya here, people sometimes are given a chance to work simply because they're politically connected, but they're not academically connected. Now, what happens is you realize that people now focus on the salary and the title. They forget that they don't have the skills. And the moment that term of politics ends, when that politician is not re-elected again, you also quit with them. The next government comes with a fresh new team to work with. I always tell people, it doesn't matter how you got your chance to work. If God blessed you through a politician or through the person you know or a godfather, make sure now you take a personal responsibility to develop yourself to deserve that position. That even if that politician quits, you can remain because of your competence skills. That's my advice.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Most welcome.
Oh, thank you very much for that. Very, very. You know, one thing, I don't know how many other persons could pick that. From the training and also the answers to the questions, you can see experience. Experience. And really, you know, experience is like compressing the learnings over the years together in just one sentence, in 2 sentences, in 3 sentences. That's why in the training like this, what people come to pay for is experience.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but we are so, you know, we are so favored enough to, you know, to have this kind of rare training, you know, on a platter of good like this, where I mean it's just completely without cost on your part on our part as attendees, but it doesn't come without cost on the part of the speaker. You know, he sacrificed his time. I know it's, you know, in Kenya is 2 hours ahead, so it's
we're heading towards midnight now.
Yeah, so heading towards midnight. You can imagine that, and it's still up, you know, doing this training. So thank you very much for that sacrifice. We're so grateful for this. Thank you very much. I know the other members of the community, by the time they'll be listening to this, you know, on YouTube, you know, watching the replay, I mean, it's going to be a whole lot of blessing and you know, serious impact for people. You know, and we are also very grateful that we had this recorded, so that personally I go to listen to these things again and again, because you have not actually heard it until you have listened twice. You know, some of the things you have said, it might look as if you didn't follow through, you didn't hear some of them, you didn't keep them, or you didn't put them to heart. But by the time you listen again, and then you wonder, wow, was I actually in this meeting when this was said? So you begin to wonder what happened. So that's the power of repetition, and that's just the law of learning too. You know, the law of teaching and learning is that of repetition. So listen over and over again. Thank you very much for that, and also thank you, Samu, for honoring the invites. So we appreciate your coming all the way from Qatar to join us tonight. Thank you for that. So we're just going to be having one person you know, take the vote of thanks. Ms. Aderunke will be anchoring that, then I'll come up to round off tonight. But before then, I don't know if Mr. Gershom has final thoughts before we welcome Ms. Aderunke to take to ask someone to give the final remarks, the vote of thanks.
I think I've said my part. What was remaining was only maybe to answer a question or two. So I think what God had planned for me to deliver, I've already done so. So our sister can take over.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gershom. It's been a night of knowledge. Thank you so much for sharing from your depth of experience. So as I said at the beginning, that I'll be calling on one person to give a vote of thanks. Let me just give the allowance for the person to do that willingly. So is there anyone here who would like to give a word of thanks briefly? Just 1 or 2 sentences. Okay, a minute more. If I didn't get a response, I'll have to call someone. All right. Okay, let's have.
You might end up being the one doing it.
Okay. Okay. We have a volunteer. Over to you, ma. Mrs. or Miss Samuel.
Oh, it's me.
No, I saw your mic unmuted, so I thought you wanted to volunteer.
No. Oh, okay. No, I wasn't expecting this one to happen, but shortly we'll just say thank you for the opportunity to the organization, and thank you to Mr. Okonda for his time. For volunteering his time and his knowledge. This will go a long way for some of us, and we hope to grow with the organization. We hope to learn, and we hope it keeps going and going, assisting others who haven't learned about it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma. Thank you. So over to you, Mr. Akinfolari.
Okay, thank you very much. So this brings us to the end of this conference today. So just a quick reminder for SAMU, I think other people are already on the platform. They're already on our channel on WhatsApp and Telegram. So for SAMU, so the link has been posted already. So in case you want to join the platform, so you can get customized information from the community on a daily basis. So you can join us on WhatsApp and also on Telegram with the link posted earlier. And our next event in the book community is going to be happening April 20th. April 20th. So save that date. You'll get further information about that. So definitely we have much more people. I mean, it just accidentally there was a clash in the event today. There was a meeting that clashed with today's meeting, and impacted the people that should also come up in one way or the other or something. But the next event is coming up on the 20th of April. So save that date. Further details will be posted on our platform. So it's going to be heavy also. So we normally invite speakers from different parts of the world. We've had speakers from Canada. We've had from Portugal. We've had from France. We've had from Nigeria, from Kenya, we've had speakers from different countries. So we have people from different parts of the world coming on this platform to speak to us. So it's such a great privilege to to have this kind of platform where people come share their experience, and then we learn together corporately, and also individually we become better for it. So next month on the 20th is another day to come together in this kind of conference. So you'll get to know much more about how the conference looks like, what is going to be the subject, who is going to be coming to speak, and all that. So you get to know more about that. Then also do well to follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're also on Twitter. So Bank of Opportunities. So if you just search for Bank of Opportunities, or better still, that same link, all our social media handles are already on that link. So you can check that link tree. So you can see all of them, and then you can just follow, so you get updates also from the community. Okay, so that brings us to the end of the conference today. Thank you very much, everyone that has come. Thank you, especially Mr. Gershom, for your sacrifice. In Kenya, it's already close to midnight. In Kenya now, it's close to midnight. Yes.
I'm sure.
It should
I'm
be,
sure.
it should be level 27 with Kenya now.
I'm sure it's more late for some. I don't know what time it is in Qatar right now.
Yeah, Samuel, what time is
The
it?
same time. Same time. It's 11:27.
Okay.
Okay. So
No,
we
so
share.
Kenya and Qatar has the same time.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And excuse me. I didn't get the link, and I'm trying to search here, and the AI thing, I don't know whether it's taken over. I can't get the link.
Oh, okay. I think she will repost it now. Can you repost it, please, Mr. Aderonke? So, okay, yeah. So the link has been reposted. I hope you got it now. So I just want to confirm that you got the link. Samu.
On
Yes.
the chat.
Yes,
On the chat. Huh?
I got it. I got it.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I was sending a message so that I don't lose it.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, all right. So, so once again, thank you, Mr. Gershon, for the sacrifice. We thank you very much. So we hope to have you again, over and over again. We hope to
Yeah,
have
it'll always be my pleasure.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Okay.
So thank you, everyone, and have a great night rest, and see you next month in the next
Yes.
conference. Oh,
Have
okay.
a good night.
Someone
And
is raising his hand. So okay, Mr. Adegunsoye. So he came earlier, but he had to leave for a meeting, and then now he's back. Okay, so you're
Yeah,
welcome,
I'm sorry.
sir.
Yeah, thank you so much. I indicated my interest in joining the meet. I was hoping I would be able to excuse myself throughout, but I had a very important meeting to attend to. I notified you, Mr. Bankole. I want to know, you mentioned I got to join the meeting when you were talking of a link. What's the link about? I'm not seeing it on the platform I belong to. Is there anything I'm missing?
Okay, yeah, it's the link to the community on WhatsApp and on Telegram. I think you're already on the PDT page.
PDT, I don't think I'm on the platform. Oh. It's a...
Okay, what you can do, so you can click on the link. The link is in the chat, it's in the chat, the chat board. So just click on the link. So you see all the platforms. So you can join as many as you can on WhatsApp, on Telegram, on Twitter, whatever, Facebook. So you can click on the link. So please confirm if you have seen the link.
Yes, I've seen the link. It's okay. Thank you so much.
Okay, yeah. So thank you very much for that. So thank you, everyone, and see you next month on the 20th, same time. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night. Thank you so much, everyone. Good night, Sam.
Good night. Thank you.
Okay. All right, Samu. Good night. Thank you for coming.
Okay, thank you.